What's up, folks? Welcome to my channel. Just wanted to pop in here really quick before we start the video and ask you to please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. That's what feeds the algorithm monster and keeps this thing going. If you're interested in the audio versions of the podcast, of course, we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those good places. We sell our t-shirts and stuff like that I wear during the show on justworkco.com. You can find me on all the social platforms pretty much at I am Dave Hurt, and you can follow the podcast Instagram at the Free Mind Podcast. All right, that's enough. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I appreciate you. Welcome back to the show, everybody. I am joined today by a very special guest. I mean, my God, it took me so long to get this guy in the studio. He's a celebrity. His time is money, and his money is time. Welcome, man. What's your name? Tell everybody who you are and all that good stuff.
I'm AJ.
That's right, everybody. AJ. Thanks a
lot. Just a local Charlotte guy, UPS guy. I've known Dave for a few years now. I started my fitness and nutrition transformation with him, and we've just kind of been friends ever since, on and off, with just ups and downs of life.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, AJ's one of my good buddies. Gosh, man, what was it? It's been 2 years plus, right?
I think it was January 2019.
Okay, yeah. You randomly shot me a message on Instagram, just like, I think I had put up a thing where I was offering free coaching to people.
And you had moved into my neighborhood.
That's right.
And I'm like, that house looks familiar. I think you're in my hood.
Dude, and that kind of freaked me out. I remember I went to my wife. I was like, hey, look, this guy's like fucking in our neighborhood. And he messaged me, should I work with him? And she was like, yeah, why are you being weird? I was like, I mean, I don't know this guy.
Maybe this guy's weird.
Turned out you were pretty cool. And then since then, we've just been good buddies. And like you said, been through the ups and downs of life and all that good stuff. And you've really kind of, ever since then, I mean, I don't think you'd mind if I said you definitely were like dad bod status at that point.
Absolutely.
Not in the best shape. And ever since then, you've kind of taken the reins and really, like, I mean, from training with weights to distance running and all kinds of stuff, man, you've really just always kind of gotten after it ever since. And it's transitioned to where, you know, at certain times I definitely get motivation from you, which is really cool to see. And as a coach, it's something that makes you really happy.
I never thought about that, but yeah, I mean, I guess since you started this journey with me, and then to see me do the different things I've done, I mean, you got to take a little pride in that. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And also, you know, something that I would add is that you've got 5 kids, which is not a small amount of children.
It's a lot.
And, you know, as a dad myself, that's just another thing I would like, if I was ever like, I don't feel like getting it in today or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, you start to make those excuses for yourself. You're like, I got a kid, I got this, I got that. But then always I'm like, AJ's got 5 kids. What am I even doing? Let me get my ass in the gym.
If AJ can do it, you can do it.
100%.
Absolutely.
Man, 100%. So, I didn't come into this with a plan. I was literally just like, hey, man, do you want to come in and record a podcast? Because I want to do more episodes like this just with my buddies where we sit down and chat about stuff. So
I was really hoping you would have a plan because I'm kind of nervous.
Don't be nervous, man. It's you get used to it. I know that the headphones thing is kind of weird where you can hear yourself talking and everything. But so like we said, it's been a couple years. Are you like, how would you describe like your training stuff now? You're doing more running, and I mean, you're kind of mixing it up, right?
It's kind of mixed. I would say minimal running, more just kind of bro lifting a few days a week, trying to maintain. Yeah. And then really trying to just make sure, you know, the nutrition is dialed in, that I'm not overeating, because, you know, sometimes I feel like that's more important than getting the training in.
I think it definitely is.
The quickest way to hit that slippery slope is to start, making bad decisions nutritionally.
And you, for those who don't follow you or don't know, if you check him out on Instagram, what is it? It's at XXAJMXX.
Yep.
Is that right?
That's me.
You got one of the best garage gyms I've like seen anywhere.
Yeah, I almost don't even like showing it to people because it's so outrageous.
Dude, it's insane.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you've got everything in there, and it's so cool to me because again, I think back to like when we started, you just like weren't even working out basically.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah, no, nothing, literally nothing.
And now you're like all in, like gung ho, got the garage gym at home and everything else.
Yeah, it started. There was like a garage sale that Sornex had, and so I just went down there after. Well, I guess before that, I bought your old squat rack.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I got, the Sornex rack, and then it just blossomed from there and went out of control.
So what are your, I know at one point you had talked about training people or coaching people or whatever, kind of like what I was doing. Do you have plans to do that at all, or?
I don't think I do. I'm a full-time UPS driver, so it's really hard to leave the security of that.
What's that like?
It's
driving for UPS. I always noticed this might come off as slightly homo, but I'm always like, God, man, UPS dudes always have like crazy calves. Is that because of the fucking like jumping in and out of the truck and lifting packages all day long, or is it the shorts they make you guys wear? Like, what is that?
I've never known. It might be your calf fetish that you've got.
Like I said, homo statement there.
No, because I have tattoos on my legs. For the longest time, I couldn't even wear shorts, so nobody could admire my calves.
I know somebody's listening right now, and they're agreeing with me. They're like, yeah, UPS guys, they always have good calves.
Dude, I love my UPS guy in his shorts.
I'm telling you, bro. It's a thing. You know what else is a thing that, like, I've noticed? It's kind of like something that they really lean into is, like, there's, like, hot UPS ladies who have, like, Instagram accounts.
There's a few.
I mean, that's like a thing.
It's weird because I don't know if I can say this. You might have to edit it out. On like at your local UPS level, the women that you see are like just normal or subpar. I don't know how to word it.
What are you trying to say, AJ?
But on a national level,
there's some hotties.
The ones that have went viral for sure, absolutely.
Like they could do like a UPS lady calendar.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They could.
By the way, I'm married. I love my wife. She's amazing. I think it's okay for me to say there's some hot UPS ladies out there. That's okay to say.
You just like getting your packages delivered in a timely fashion. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about my package. But yeah, so how long have you been driving for UPS?
I got hired in 2005. So then I went full-time in 2007, started delivering packages, did that for about 8 years, and now I just drive a tractor trailer. Okay. So if you can imagine just holding a steering wheel for 8 to 10 hours a day, it's pretty easy peasy looking out of a windshield.
There's a lot of talk. Elon Musk and guys like that talk about how those trucking jobs like that are going to get automated away. Is that something that you worry about or that you guys talk about internally, or has it been addressed at all at UPS? Because it's definitely something that's out there.
It's not something that really gets talked about at a local level, but we know that it's there. Yeah. UPS has the money to make those investments. So that's something that I'm sure, they're looking into. But it's just so hard to imagine, once you get to like the interstate, you could kind of fathom an automated truck. But, when you're on the yard and moving trailers around, backing them into, I think there's always going to have to be a human element. I mean, I say it sounds naive to say that because at some point everything can literally be automated, but they would have to implement lines and tracks in the parking lots and, because there has to be some sort of way for the computer to communicate with I just imagine things would have to be a lot different. Yeah. So the way it's orchestrated now, there's just so much human interaction. There's no way.
I think that, I don't know. It's one of those things I think about a lot. And I'm like, sometimes there are, even if we can do it, like, should we do it? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it probably would make sense financially for some of these companies to just have autonomous vehicles. But there comes a point where you just say, like, gosh, man, you're really putting a lot of people out of jobs. Exactly. Like, should you do that?
No, I mean, it's irresponsible from an economy standpoint. I mean, sure, you could pay your shareholders out a little bit more money, but the jobs that you're taking away, like, where are these people supposed to get jobs? Like, people have to have jobs. You can't take away people's jobs unless, you want to get into a situation where the government's providing everything.
There's also the argument that, at least I've seen this argument, or people try to make this argument that it's safer too. If you eliminate like the human element, that it's safer.
I can't really weigh in on that argument because we have a lot of accidents and stuff. People just, I'm on the safety committee at UPS, so I see all the accidents, and a lot of them are unavoidable. Oh, well, they make us call them crashes. I hope nobody's listening to this. I hope I don't get in trouble.
Dude, well, I've got like 3 listeners. It's okay.
Right.
Don't worry.
But so the crashes, and most of them happen on the yard with people just hitting other vehicles, not paying attention. It's insane.
Do you think that this whole like Amazon having a drone show up at your door delivering packages, is that like feasible? Is that going to be the future?
Anything is possible.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like
your perspective as someone who's in that world, do you think it's possible? Like truly it could happen?
I can't picture the logistics of it. I mean, how many...
That's like buzzing all around all the time.
Right. So it's going to have somewhere to go to and from. Like, I guess the truck will have to drive and the drone would have to go back and forth, pick up the packages, take them to the... I mean, it's
that's
not
true.
like...
You could park like at the front of a neighborhood.
Right.
And then... But then you're still having to have the normal truck and all that. I'm seeing if I can go live on Instagram real quick, but I probably can't because
you're probably shadow banned because you're so controversial.
I'm still a bad person. Yep, blocked from sharing live video. Dude, I don't even get it, man.
At some point, we're all going to be wearing the little Amazon badges.
You think so?
Dude, I mean, they monopolize everything.
You think Amazon could like buy UPS?
Oh, for sure. I mean, they couldn't, but they could. Like, they've got the money to.
Right.
Bezos has billions and billions of hundreds of billions of dollars.
That's just wild.
And then that's just his net worth. We're not even talking about
the company
investors, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, he's like he's not the CEO anymore, right? He's like stepped down. He's just living his life, wearing fucking silk shirts and dancing on yachts. And
it's
stuff.
Insane. I mean, and I don't get their whole business model because it seems like when you buy something, it costs the same to buy it from Amazon as it does in the store. However, they deliver it to your front door basically
for free
the next day. Right.
Yeah.
So how do they make their money?
I guess it's just a volume game. You know, you have a tiny little bit of margin, but if you extrapolate it out to millions and millions of packages, right?
And they started selling books.
Yeah. It was like an online bookstore.
I mean, it's just mind-blowing to see
I wonder
what
if
Amazon is now.
I wonder when he started if all he cared about was just being a bookstore, or if he knew.
There's no way.
There's no way, right?
No way he could have known. I mean,
because like Netflix started out as like mailing you DVDs, right? Now they're the number one streaming thing. So a lot of these scenarios, it's like, I guess these people just recognize the market shift and were smart enough to take advantage of it.
You have to be ahead of the curve. You have to see the change coming before it changes.
Yeah, like automated cars.
Absolutely.
Like automated trucking.
Well, it's like in other parts of the country, they can pull 3 trailers behind a semi-truck because of the way the interstates are. I guess they're flat roads and straighter.
Okay. Yeah. Less like sharp turns.
Right.
And stuff.
In our area on the East Coast, we can only pull 2 trailers.
Interesting.
But those triples that they pull, they are actually put together at like a rest area. So they're only pulled on the interstate, and then they pull back off and break them down before they pull them off. So it's, they can make the roads compatible with whatever like automated trucks they're doing as well.
That's interesting. Yeah, because you almost could have like if it's like a long straight interstate, you almost have like a shuttle where you can link up like 5 containers or whatever. And if it's just 80 miles of straight,
it turns into like a train.
Yeah, it's like it's true. I guess it's a train.
Yeah.
We get like loop right back around to trains again. But it's true, man. And that kind of stuff is kind of frightening when you think about the fact that, I mean, the population's not getting any smaller. People need jobs, and we're eliminating jobs with technology, right? And I know that it creates new jobs for like technicians who have the skills to work on these trucks, but the scale doesn't match up.
Right. Yeah. You're trading like 20 jobs for 50 jobs for one job.
Yeah. And it can't be, it's usually not going to be like the same guys. Like you're not going to be able to take a trucker right? And be like, hey, you're now in charge of all these autonomous vehicles.
Right.
Learn this skill set real quick. And, so that's that kind of thing. It's going to be interesting to see over the next 5, 10, 20 years, man. Like, I don't know. So I was interested in your perspective as a trucker on it. I mean, you guys put in crazy hours too. Like, it's hard work.
Well, it's gotten better.
Just go with me on this, damn it.
So back in the old days, you'd have your super truckers, and they would keep multiple logbooks so they could run infinite hours. So by the DOT regulates us to like a 60-hour week, 70-hour week. We can only work, a certain amount of hours before we have to have a certain amount of time off. Okay. But if your logbook shows you, you're running multiple logbooks, you're getting it's so those super truckers, sometimes you'll see they'll go crazy. But now that everything's digitized and we've got computers doing our logbooks and stuff, it's a little different.
It's harder to cheat.
Right. Yeah, it's harder to cheat the system because everybody, the government mandates we have those digital logbooks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, 70-hour week is what we're kind of maxed out at.
I mean, that's a long week, dude.
Absolutely.
You say it
in
like
5 days.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
Right.
You work hard. So what is it like trying to be in shape and be a trucker? Because I see a lot of fat truckers, and I feel like a lot of them use it as an excuse. But, I mean, you do it. You get it in, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is the discipline. You have to be able to avoid the truck stop junk food. Mm-hmm. And I've had
I'm not even a trucker, and I struggle avoiding the truck stop junk food.
So I've had times where you get you can use the word addiction, but you just get in the routine where you stop at the same truck stop at the same time every day. And, QT has the best M&M cookies, just FYI.
QT has the best a lot of stuff, dude.
So
I love QT.
Don't buy the M&M cookies because once you start, you just can't stop.
Good tip.
Luckily, I've been able to eradicate those from my diet. But those 2 cookies, 750 calories. Yeah. God. And it's, you knock down some of those bad boys every day a week, you're done.
Yeah.
There's no way to come back from that.
Yeah, seriously. Dude, and it's so true what you said, though, because I got in the habit of, I would drop my daughter off every morning. There's a QT right down the road from the daycare. And it just became my whatever you want to call it, my routine. Yeah. And I would drop her off. I would go to the QT. I would get like an energy drink and like a sausage biscuit and like this. And it's just like, next thing you know, I'm like, man, why am I feel a little soft around the edges here? And it's like, oh shit, for the last 3 weeks, every day,
exactly,
I've had this sausage biscuit, and it's crazy how we can fall into that stuff and not even realize it, because you're taking the path of least resistance, and you've got other things going on that are important, like whether it's work, like you got your route and you got to make sure you're there by a certain time and all this stuff. And food is almost just a convenience that you just need to get out of the way. Right.
Right. Well, then, and like your routine becomes comfort, whether it's good or bad. So if you have a bad routine, it's still bringing you comfort mentally, and to think of breaking that routine, it gives a lot of anxiety. Like it's hard to break it.
Just like you can get into a good routine where if you don't get to work out, you feel off as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't matter, because you'll say, okay, well, I'm not going to stop today. I'm not going to do it. I'm not, we're going to, or tomorrow, like you'll say, okay, well, I failed today, but I'm going to stop tomorrow. And you just can't. You need, myself personally, you would almost need like a rock bottom or something to just kind of wake you up to, oh shit, I can't do this forever. I can't eat these cookies every day for the rest of my life.
Well, for me, it's like that, like looking in the mirror and actually being like, oh God,
right.
Oh shit. Or like feeling my pants be tighter.
You step on that scale.
Yeah.
And you're not, well, for me, 180, and now all of a sudden you see 200 on the scale. That's a big difference. Mm-hmm. In the mirror, it's so gradual. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you don't even really notice it unless you look at progress pictures. If you're not taking progress pictures, you don't notice it. But that number on the scale, man, it doesn't lie.
No, man. And that's why I always, like with coaching, it's kind of a delicate dance, because you tell people, don't get obsessed with the number on the scale. But the number on the scale does have some value because, like you said, sometimes the mirror can be so gradual that it's like boiling a frog, right? Like you stick a frog in cold water and slowly turn the heat up. He's boiling before he even realizes the water started to get hot. Whereas kind of the same deal, like you see yourself every day, so you get acclimated to it slowly. Right. And then you jump on the scale and you're up 20 pounds. You're like, holy shit, I didn't even think I looked different.
It's just like any other analytic. Like it's just a statistic to follow. So when you use it in conjunction with your progress pictures, the number on the scale, you can kind of use it to gauge. And also, if you know you're doing what you need to do, if you're living a healthy lifestyle, the number doesn't really matter. And you can trust the information it's giving you as far as like if you're losing weight or gaining weight, you're gaining muscle or you're losing fat. But if you're eating like a piece of garbage and, the scale's going up, then okay, well, this number means I'm gaining fat. It's just all about your level of knowledge and how much you're paying attention to the different scales.
That was always the biggest thing with female clients. I can't even tell you how many times I heard, I'm doing everything right. I'm hitting my macros. My clothes are fitting great. I look good in the mirror, but my weight went up. And I'm like, okay. So, and
right. If you're running the play, who cares?
Like, you look great. You feel great. Everything is the way it should be. Why do you care about that number?
Right.
Oh, because I just, I don't want to gain weight. I'm like, it's arbitrary.
Exactly.
If you look and feel great, it doesn't matter.
They see that number on the scale, and I'm like, well, I guarantee you could look better 20 pounds heavier.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and look, you can say like girls shouldn't care what guys think, but I guarantee like most guys are probably, where you would gain that weight, they would probably be like, oh, sweet. That's exactly. That's nice.
You get it in the shape.
Yeah, exactly.
You grow it in the quads, the glutes. You'll suck it in the waist and,
yeah,
you'll get the lats to give you that hourglass figure.
But yeah, girls, especially with that number on the scale, it can be tough because it's a mental thing. Like, and for me, I mean, same deal. Like I it's not exclusive to women, especially when I was really into bodybuilding. I would like look good. I thought I looked big and everything was going as it should. But like, I'm like, God, man, I'm only 250. I haven't gained any weight in a few weeks or whatever. And it's the same deal, just in the other direction.
Right.
It's like, who cares, bro? You're
when I see that scale hit 200, I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm overweight.
See, if I saw it hit 200, I'd be like, oh, Jesus, how did I lose all this weight?
Right. Well, at 5'5", I have a different scale of, what the weight means. I'm just giving you a hard time. Right.
I am 6'5". For those listening, just don't fact check that, please. But yeah, it's fun, man. It's been cool to see you because you started out as a client and then you kind of evolved into a coach somewhat. You guys were getting there with that, and you built the gym out. And I mean, it's a huge part of your life now. And that, like, for somebody as a coach, like, it's a very rewarding thing to see, and you got involved with Phorm and the Legionnaire program and all that stuff. And it's just been cool. Like, it's really awesome to see that happen. So it's been fun to watch. I sit back like a proud father.
Just following in your footsteps, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well, somebody's got to, because I've been slacking lately.
I just want to get big like you used to be.
Like I used to be.
I had to throw that in there for you.
You son of a bitch. No, but it's true, man. You go through these phases, no matter how on top of stuff you are. Sometimes you focus on other things in life and you just maintain, in the training area or whatever, and then you pick it back up and gain again.
It's all about priorities, man. Yeah. Like right now,
you can't beat yourself up.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Basically, right now, I just don't want to get fat. Mm-hmm. So I'll watch what I eat. I'll try to get to the gym when I can, and otherwise, like, I'll focus on my priorities that are more important.
Which are?
Family. My kids.
I'd agree. What's it like having 5 kids?
That can be best summed up as a meme I saw. So the meme kind of goes, imagine you have your, how did it go? Shit, edit this out so I don't sound like I'm stumbling.
Nope, we're gonna put you on the spot.
So imagine you're drowning and someone hands you a child. And that's 5.
That makes sense. Oh my God. Dude, that makes sense to me, and I have one kid. You know,
right? So now imagine you're juggling 5.
That's just crazy. Dude.
Luckily, you know, the key to people that want to have large families is you want to separate them. 4 years apart is kind of the sweet spot.
For each kid, 4 years apart?
Give or take. So you don't want to have like multiple children in diapers at the same time.
Okay, I can see that.
You know, so and then as your child gets 8, 12, they can start helping and offset some of that burden. You know, the workload. It's just all about balance.
That makes sense. Yeah. So Carter she's 4 now, so it's like about time, I think, to make another one. You know.
Yeah, I mean they're always fun to make.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's like, oh shit, what did I do?
That's my favorite part. And then the rest is just, God, all this responsibility.
So I've got 2 that are 16 and then a 12, 8, and a 5. So, you know, when you've got the 16, they can kind of watch.
Yeah, but they're also 16. And so they're like, leave me alone.
Exactly. He wants nothing to do with me.
Yeah. I remember being 16, thinking that like grown-ups were the dumbest people ever.
He just wants to play his video games.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you play video games?
I do not.
Me neither.
I used to. We actually used to have a room in the house that had the Xbox 360, maybe back that far back. And then,
Dude, I stopped at Sega Genesis. You told me the wrong person.
Right. No, I had a phase where I went through and played a lot of video games, but that ended a long time ago.
When you lost your virginity.
Pretty much. Yeah. You know, once you find the opposite sex, man, a lot of things change.
Yeah, I wonder about that today, though, because there's so many, like, hot gamer chicks, and, like, gaming is a whole thing now. Like, there's Twitch and all that, so...
I think those chicks set an unrealistic expectation for
those chicks are like
dudes.
The hot UPS chicks.
Right. There's like 3 or 4
where are they?
In the entire country. Yeah. 3 or 4. That's all you get.
It's a whole niche though, man. Like the hot gamer chick thing, like they're making money.
It's all about the money, dude.
Yeah.
You're a hot chick that games, you can just make your own income.
You know what?
It's gaming and streaming.
It's exactly like there's like a whole world of like hot hunter and like fisher women,
right?
Chicks,
yes,
like outdoor chicks.
You find your niche and you're hot. You've got to get a leg up.
Why can't that exist for dudes? Like, is there anything like that for dudes where like if you're a hot dude, you can exploit a niche?
Probably. I've never known any hot dude niches since I'm not a hot dude.
Right. I disagree, AJ. I think like veterinarians. Stuff like that. That's probably one where if you're a veterinarian and you're a super handsome veterinarian, you probably can have like a...
Or like if you're a hot doctor, dude, you're in.
Hot doctor.
You're in it to win it.
I don't know why I said veterinarian, but like animal doctor, yeah.
I don't go to the vet very often, so the regular people doctor probably gets more action.
I think I was just thinking like cute puppies, you know, like if you've got like a cute puppy, it's an asset. But man... If you're a hot chick and you have like a skill, you're good, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
but that's also because of men, because we're such freaking simple. We're like, oh, look at her, oh, and she knows how to fish.
If you're
money.
If you're a hot chick, you don't even need a skill, dude.
Well, that's true too. Your skill is being a hot chick.
Exactly. Then you've got the niche of just
OnlyFans.
Show a little skin.
OnlyFans. Yeah.
You can make 6 figures just showing a little skin.
Yeah, when I think about stuff like that, I'm like, man, if this is a patriarchy, it's a shitty one. Right.
No, there's definitely uneven lines there, gender boundaries that can't be crossed. It's it's weird. It still requires work. Like they don't get it for free.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's a hustle.
For sure.
I mean, you've got to be able to put the work in.
It is. I would never what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't want to
demean or diminish.
Discount.
Yeah, the amount of work that it must take. Like if you're hot, that's a leg up, but you also have to do...
You have to make the content. Like it's work to make content. You have to be creative. You have
that's
to,
true.
You have to
That's true,
put
man.
the work in.
But so many people look at you and they're just like, oh, it's just because you're hot.
Oh, she's got it made.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know.
They're like, oh, look at that guy with the sweet beard. He's so big. Like,
talking about you.
He's got it. No, we're talking about you, man.
Shit, man. What happens is they see me and they're like, look at that fucking white supremacist, alt-right, and I'm like, wait, I'm just saying hey, let's all get along.
I bet he's shadow banned on Instagram. Yeah. That's sexy.
Well, apparently, If only that were the thing. If your ability to get shadow banned like made you money, I'd be rich, bro.
Right.
I'm really good at getting shadow banned.
If holding a steering wheel made you money, well, I mean, I guess it does, but
makes you money.
Not an immense amount of money. We're just
UPS pays pretty good though, right?
It does. Yeah. I mean, it pays enough to get by.
Yeah.
For sure. It's a living
wage. It pays
wage.
enough to have 83 kids.
It does. It supports the family.
Yeah.
But it's not going to get you to that next level.
Right.
It's like
that's OnlyFans. That's what OnlyFans
exactly.
is.
It's like that.
You should make like UPS themed like OnlyFans porn.
I don't think anybody wants to see me naked.
Where you're like, what can Brown do for you? And then the music starts.
If I were one of the 5
I got a special package for a special lady.
It sounds like you've got a niche in mind here that doesn't exist.
We can blaze the trail. All right, let's do it.
But if I were one of the 3 or 4 hot UPS chicks,
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Well, that's the thing, man. But guys will pay for anything if you're a hot chick.
They're making that money on TikTok, though.
Yeah, that's true.
So they don't even have to OnlyFans it.
Nurses are making that money on TikTok,
right?
Bro.
You just do your dances and your scrubs, man.
People wonder why this pandemic lasted 2 years. It's because the fucking nurses were TikToking. Right. I just made so many enemies right now, but that's fine.
We love nurses around here.
We love nurses.
Yes.
I tell you what, man.
Shout out to all my nurses.
The true test of like, if you're a girl and you're like, do I have a nice butt? Do I have a butt that like a guy would enjoy?
Is it a butt? Then we would enjoy it.
Well, that is true. But like, if you're like upper echelon butt, I'll tell you what the test is. If you have a butt that looks nice and shapely in scrubs.
Oh, absolutely.
That means you've got a real nice butt.
Right.
Right? Like if you can pull it, like if you can make someone turn their head.
In scrubs.
Yes. Like I think that's like a really true test of do you have nice glutes?
100%, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of nurses that frequent the gym.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know. I'm married.
Right.
I don't look at that kind of stuff.
Course.
You know, I love you, sweetheart. Man, this is what a great episode this is.
You know, you got to know where those nurses are so you can avoid them.
Exactly. That's what I do. Usually I'll find a guy friend and I'll say, hey, are there any attractive women in the gym so that I can make sure I avoid them?
Right. Because I got to come work out, but I got to wait till they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because, they're all just probably fans of the podcast, so I have to avoid them. Oh, boy. Yeah, none of that is true, by the way.
Right.
None of that is true.
That we know of.
That we know of, yes.
I'm sure Dan's got some nurse fans out there.
Dan who?
Dan?
Bilzerian?
Dave? Fuck.
You talking about me?
I'm talking about Dave.
Me?
Let's edit that out.
Are you trying to say my name?
I'm trying to say Dave.
That's my name.
That's what you get for...
alcohol?
Bourbon me up.
Thank you to Jenna and Chris Fail for providing this delicious Blanton's, and AJ has enjoyed quite a bit of it.
That's when I look at that bottle, I feel like I've had too much.
You've had a quarter of it at least. Maybe a third.
You might drive me home tonight.
Well, I've had quite a few drinks myself.
Uber. Shout out to Uber and Lyft.
Uber, would you like to sponsor this show? Get at me, bro.
We appreciate our Uber and Lyft drivers around here.
But
stay safe. Do not drink and drive.
Jenna and Chris, if you're listening, we need to do another episode. It's been too long. I miss you guys. All right, man. So let's talk about politics.
Politics?
Yeah, let's talk about politics.
All right.
You voted for Joe Biden, and you're a Democrat. So tell me why Joe Biden.
I did not. I'm sorry. I canceled my wife's vote out.
Your wife voted for Joe Biden?
My vote didn't count, but I did cancel out a Joe Biden vote.
I did too.
My future ex-wife.
Oh, okay. Is that because she voted for Biden?
Right. Right. No, I mean, obviously, there's more to it than that, but we'll just leave it at that.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know if we were going to go there, but AJ is.
I don't think we should put that out there.
Okay, we won't put that out there. We'll leave it at that. But no, politics. It's a crazy time right now, man. A lot of stuff going on.
It is. It's just wild. And I can get by with a lot of policies from each different side, but the hypocrisy is what really drives me wild. Yeah. Like when you say one thing and do another, like, get the fuck out of here.
Give me an example of that.
Oh,
what has Joe Biden said?
That's a loaded question.
No, we're digging in right now.
Well, let's say when Joe Biden's like, hey, let's get rid of student loan debt.
Dude, nobody thought he was going to do that shit. If you look, let me tell you something right now.
But that's the platform that he stood on to get elected.
Let me tell you something right now.
We all knew that was like a load of BS.
If you, for a nanosecond, if you believed that he was going to get rid of student loan debt, I got some oceanfront property in Tennessee that I will sell your dumb ass.
Right.
I'm sorry, but if anybody actually believed that, you are not a smart human. Period. Like that. I'm sorry, but like that. But that's the whole reason why people like me get so frustrated when people are like, "Yeah, but he said he's going to cancel student loan debt." It's like, yeah, the last fucking however many candidates have said that, and nobody does it, and it shouldn't happen anyway. You took on that debt; it's your debt. You deal with it.
Also, don't take the Trump vaccine, but take the Biden vaccine. Like, it's the same fucking vaccine.
Yeah. Or Biden saying that, Donald Trump didn't have a plan to deal with COVID. I have a plan.
Right. It's the same plan.
And now we've had more COVID deaths under Biden with a vaccine than we did under Trump, basically without a vaccine the whole time.
For example, you get the people that I know of someone specifically that got vaccinated like 3 weeks ago. And then they caught COVID 3 weeks later. Like,
of course. It doesn't prevent you from catching it at all.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense.
And the real frustrating part with all of that has been, I've been saying that from the beginning because if you did your research, you knew that. You knew that the vaccines didn't prevent you from catching or spreading COVID. They just mitigated your symptoms.
Right. No, yeah. If you've got comorbidities and you're probably going to die if you catch COVID, get the vaccine so you don't die.
Yeah.
But if you're a healthy adult, male or female, then you don't need the vaccine.
Right. But the frustrating part has been saying that from the beginning and being basically attacked and called all kinds of names for saying it. But now it's come full circle where even on CNN,
science
exactly.
Changes.
They're saying, you're still going to catch the virus if you're vaccinated. I mean, Joe Biden, no less than 3 times has said, if you're vaccinated, you won't get COVID, which is a straight up lie.
Yeah.
It is a bald-faced lie. But the problem is there are a lot of very unintelligent people who just believe that stuff, hook, line, and sinker. It's the same people who thought he was going to cancel student loan debt, and they're like, he said, I can't catch COVID. If I'm vaccinated, I'm not going to get COVID. It's like, bro, give me a break. Meanwhile, people like us are demonized for it.
We could do a whole podcast on the left versus the right hypocrisy, but
this is like all I do, bro.
Dude, it's not the left versus the right. It's the us versus the them.
Yeah,
like
it's the institutional
they're the same
elites.
Fucking government.
Yeah. It's a uniparty for the most part.
Yes.
There's a handful of people I like, but they also get stymied by the institutions, and they don't, like Tulsi Gabbard, for example. The DNC just totally shit on her, and because she doesn't want to play ball with them.
Dude, it started as like a service. Like you were serving your country as a politician. Now it's a career to get rich.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Nancy Pelosi doesn't for 1 second think that she works for the American people.
No, she works for herself to try to do whatever the fuck she can do to get more money and more power.
And it's so obvious, man, with the condescending tone that these people have when they talk about us. It's like, wait a second.
We're peasants.
You fucking work for us.
Yes,
your paycheck
exactly
comes from my tax dollars.
Dude, it's like close all your businesses, but I'm going to go get my hair done.
Yeah.
Open your business for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm important.
Exactly.
I have power.
And by the way, I'm not going to wear a mask, even though I'm requiring everybody else to wear a mask. And my
that's been across the whole front. Like, you guys can't go out and do anything without a mask, but I'm going to hold these parties.
Yep.
I'm going
to make the staff wear masks.
Right.
The help. A lot of times people of color, I'm going to make them mask up.
It's insane.
My little fucking slaves.
It's insane.
It's ridiculous, bro. It's insane. And that's why I put stuff out that says shit like they want us to hate each other. Don't let them win.
They do.
Because it's not white or black. It's not Democrat or Republican. It's not left or right. It's not working class versus white collar. It's none of that. It's fucking the people of America versus these institutional elites, the elite class, the people who are, call it whatever you want, the swamp, these people who have been in these bureaucratic positions forever, that think that we exist to be subservient to them when they are supposed to serve us, right? And it's just not that way.
If they can have
the media too, by the way,
the people versus the people, then they don't have to worry about the people versus them.
Right, exactly.
Like, I mean, that's all it is.
If there's a bunch of alligators in front of you, right, and you throw out a big chunk of meat and they fight over that, you have less worry about an alligator attacking you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's what they do to us. And they'll throw out stuff like, look, man, there are shitty things that happen all around the country all the time. 330 million people, stuff's going to happen.
Right.
Stuff like George Floyd happens. It's very unfortunate. I'm not excusing it at all. But what they do is they'll take something like that and seize upon it and cover nothing but that constantly.
They'll weaponize it.
They weaponize it. That's exactly right. Where there was a very similar, it was eerily similar also, with a white guy who they knelt on him for like a similar period of time. He ended up dying, kind of all the same thing. Never got any news coverage, right? It was because they saw an opportunity to create divisiveness with the George Floyd situation. And so you have the institutions like the media, the politicians, in large part like the educational institutions at the highest levels. They're all working in concert against our best interests. And it really pains me when I see stuff like let's say a black guy who drives for UPS, who harbors hate in his heart for you, a white guy who drives for UPS, because he's been told by MSNBC that white guys want to hold down black guys. And it's like, no, we're both fucking drivers for UPS, man. We're both working class Americans. We're in this shit together. Yeah, it's them that are the bad ones that want us to hate each other. We should embrace each other and unite against this corrupt power that's trying to control our lives.
I don't really see a lot of that.
Well, I was giving an example. Right, yeah. Like, I'm sure that you guys are all, cool.
We're in a union. Yeah. So it's pretty much just us versus management. In most cases, it's like we're the Teamsters, and then you've got the management trying to just do whatever they want to do. So
do you like having a union?
I do, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you've got contracts in place, and when they don't follow the contract, then we can file grievances for those transgressions.
There are some unions that are pretty corrupt, though, like teachers' unions.
There's definitely corruption on the upper levels, but on a local level, it's
nice to have.
Right, absolutely. And when you look at the wage gap from Amazon or other companies like FedEx, like I would see when I was delivering packages, I would see FedEx drivers on a regular basis. And, we become friends because we're doing the same job. We're hanging out.
You guys don't like mean mug and be like,
right. No,
Brown's
we're cool.
better, bitch.
But when we start talking about the wage gap, there's a big difference. So we're getting paid different money to do the same job.
So UPS gets paid better.
Absolutely. So then you've got the Amazon guys that are getting lower wage to do the same job. And that's where Bezos is getting his billions of dollars. And just...
And they're like having to piss in bottles and stuff.
It's crazy.
You've seen all that stuff? Where
we've all done that before.
But do you think that they're like inflating that a little bit to paint this picture of it?
It's just news. They want to get the clickbait.
It seems like it's rough, man. Like even within the facilities, like they have to like run to the bathroom and be back in a certain amount of time and all this shit.
I don't know anything about that in the Amazon facilities.
No, I want you on the record right now to condemn Amazon. No, I'm just kidding.
Amazon sucks, but we all use it. It's
I was going to say, bro, dude, I use Amazon probably every other day.
Dude, it's so easy. You order your shit, you pay the same price as going to the store, but it gets delivered to your doorstep.
Dude, this studio we're sitting in right now?
All Amazon.
The whole thing. Even this distressed wood on the wall, I ordered on Amazon.
You're basically sitting in Jeff Bezos' lap right now.
Exactly.
You're talking about the first thing that comes up.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting a little hard. I feel it. It's pushing against me.
Right.
He's drinking his adrenochrome, so he's got a nice, hard young man's erection right now. Right. Jeff, I appreciate it.
Thanks, Bezos.
But look, man, it's tough for me because as someone who has owned a business, like a brick and mortar business, like with employees.
The brass tap? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When I owned the restaurants, like I can so relate on the level of like a business owner, like that grind, like, my bartenders made more money than me and I was the owner of the joint. until I sold the business, right? Like that's just how it was, because you get paid last as the business owner.
Right.
And it frustrates me when I see all these people who don't have that perspective and they don't understand that. And they're like, all these evil CEOs or founders of companies or business owners. And it's like, well, like probably, yes, there's some of that going on with Amazon and all of that. But also at the same time, it's like, I can relate as a business owner, like to how hard it was probably to grow that thing and to get it to where, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I guess I can see it from both sides.
I know exactly what you're saying. He's putting in the work. Like Jeff Bezos has earned everything he's gotten.
Decades worth.
Right. But when you look at the monumental numbers of billions and hundreds of billions of dollars, like that there had to be some point where he's maybe should have paid his employees more, or somebody should have. There's no reason anyone should have that much money,
right?
He's cut corners to cheat someone out of some wages somewhere or benefits.
Well, possibly, but here's where I would play devil's advocate against that. A large part of his wealth, and the same applies to Elon Musk. Elon even more so.
It's imaginary wealth, because you're just basically playing on how much the company's worth.
Exactly. You just own a percentage of the company, and you can't help, if it's a publicly traded company, you can't help the valuation of it.
Absolutely.
It is what it is. So it's like, for me, so when I owned the Brass Tap, let's say there towards the end, it was worth $10 million. I had a business partner. We were half and half. So technically, right, I'm worth $5 million because I own half of it. I might have had $500 in my checking account, right?
You're living paycheck to paycheck, but they value you at.
But I'm a multimillionaire,
exactly,
and that's where
liquidity.
There's liquidity is huge, and like Elon, for example, like you have like Elizabeth Warren demonizing the guy, saying that he pays hardly anything in taxes and he's worth $300 billion or whatever. But here's the thing, that $300 billion is almost exclusively just equity in his companies. Right. He doesn't have money. That guy doesn't even own any real estate. Like, he doesn't even own a home.
That's crazy.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, if they're saying like, you got to pay your fair share in this scenario, you're literally getting to the point where you're like, you got to give up some of the ownership of your company.
Right. Which is crazy.
In order to pay taxes that we think you should pay just because of your net worth, right? So this is why I've always been opposed to a wealth tax too. Like, just because somebody's worth something doesn't mean they have the liquidity, like you said. So you happen to start a company. It happens to be very successful and you own half of it. You've never sold any shares. You've never cashed in on it. You've never taken distributions. But because all of a sudden now half of that company is worth what it's worth, they expect you to pay up all this money. You have no money.
The government expects to be a shareholder in your company, essentially collecting a dividend every quarter.
Exactly. Well, that's what it is. And they're literally taking part of your company from you. Because what did Elon have to do? He had to sell a bunch of shares in Tesla in order to pay this $11 billion tax bill.
You're too successful. We need in on this action.
Right. So imagine like starting a restaurant, right? And you own the restaurant and it's doing well. And now a politician comes in and says, hey, you got to give me 10% of that restaurant. And you're like, no, it's my restaurant. I started it. And they're like, no. But we got to take that because you've been too successful.
That's great.
That's exactly what has happened with people like Elon.
I see it from both sides, but I definitely lean more towards the side of the business owner because you put in the work. Like, it's not your fault your business got so successful.
Right. And you take like all the risk.
Right.
All the risk. And this is what I would tell. Sorry, we're good. Actually, I'm going to grab a paper towel.
Wait, let's just say for an instance, like if your business fucks up, is the government going to come in and bail you out?
Absolutely not.
No, not at all. Like,
bank under the Obama administration.
No, they really only want to come in if you're successful. So it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
I think
that's what so many people don't understand.
We're gonna take a time out for this accident.
No, we're good. We're good.
I got to pee.
Okay, go pee. What a shit show. Oh, this is what happens when I drink. So for those listening, I spilled a beer on the table. I'm cleaning it up. AJ's going to pee because he has the bladder of a 9-year-old. And all is well in the world. All right. Check, check, check. We're still good. We're still rolling. I can hear you peeing. I don't know if the people listening can hear that. There's beer all over the table here. Bear with me, folks. We'll be back in action here soon. So we went live today with our apparel at justworkco.com. So if you are interested in a Free Mind t-shirt or a Question Everything t-shirt or Racerback tank top for the ladies, check us out at justworkco.com, and you can take advantage of our 20% off pre-sale now through the next 2 weeks. So yeah, we would appreciate that if you supported our message and rocked one of our cool shirts. And that is the end of my shameless plug as I wait for AJ to finish emptying his bladder. Here he comes. Rocking the homeless chic style.
I like to think of it as the hipster style.
Yeah, you look full hipster, dude.
Man, all I'm missing is
you start like trail running and stuff, and you go full hipster on.
I should have an IPA in front of me right now.
You should. Well, I've got a white ale. I was drinking an IPA last night. Dude, you're gonna need a DD, bro. I
told you, man. You're driving me home, or we're gonna go work out.
Make you sleep in the studio. I am not working out. So
no. What basically what I'm saying is, any situation that you are presented, if you imagine it on the other foot, like for instance, the government wants to come in and take all of your revenue for tax dollars. Well, if they wouldn't come bail you out, then it's not fair.
Right.
If you imagine any situation on the other foot and it's not fair on the other foot, then it's not fair on that foot.
Well, and with Elon, for example, and these billionaires, it's not even like revenue, right?
It's just imaginary numbers.
Yeah, it's ownership of their company, and you're like, well, you're worth $300 billion. You shouldn't be paying as few taxes as you're paying. And it's like, bro, I just happen to own a part of something that's worth that much. You know, it's messed up. So now I'm not saying that that's the case with all of them. I think Bezos is definitely has, you know, he could have improved the working conditions in his company for sure. I mean, it's pretty appalling, some of the stuff you hear about the working conditions there, but you know, you don't know how much of that is exaggeration or headlines.
Well, you know, it's one of those things where when you start out with a base level job, you're making minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
So your employees are making a minimum wage, but then your company turns into $1 billion dynasty of a monopoly, but your employees are still making minimum wage. So, I mean, at what point do you shift your wages?
And see,
I feel like they should be making as much as we make.
The minimum wage thing is an interesting debate to me too, because you know, there are a lot of people who say if we didn't have a minimum wage, it would actually be like if you just let market forces do their thing, then it would be better.
Bullshit.
But you know, because when we didn't have a minimum wage, I mean, you can go back in time. The minimum wage was implemented, you know, at a certain point in time, and before that, you know, it was basically like. There were job opportunities for people who otherwise wouldn't have been able to get a job type thing. So like, high school kids, whatever.
Right.
So like the premise behind minimum wage is that it's supposed to be like a livable wage. Right. Which is why so many people are opposed to minimum wage being $7-8 or whatever. 'Cause they're like, you can't support a family on that. You can't blah, 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 blah. See, I think that there are just certain jobs that are not jobs that you should be able to support a family off of.
I mean, I agree. People aren't going to like this. But I mean, you can't.
My first 3 jobs, I was a kid.
When you're 16 years old, you don't need a livable wage. Like, you can't pay a 16-year-old the same thing you pay a 40-year-old. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And if you're a 40-year-old who finds yourself in a job that where you're working alongside 16-year-olds.
It's fucked up. Like, get another job. Like, I'm sorry you made bad decisions as a child.
At some point, you have to say, like, personal responsibility is a thing. It's a thing. And look, I get both sides of the argument. I really do. But I think that there are just certain, like when I was in high school, and I just wanted work experience. Like, I just wanted to make a little money. Like, if there was some job that paid $4 an hour, but it was like a really cool place to work, and I would have gotten some valuable skills and like a blah, this, that, and the other, I would have probably done it.
Or like, for example, like, if you like working out and you're a teenager, then you're going to go get a job at your local gym and you're going to make probably minimum wage, but you don't care because you get that free gym membership. Right. Yeah. But, it's beneficial because you get to work out for free and, it's just something you like to do. So you don't care.
Right. And I think ultimately what will happen to kind of loop it back to like something we talked about earlier, especially in fast food and administrative jobs. So kind of service and administrative oriented jobs. We're going to lose those jobs completely to automation. Right. So then you have to say, would you rather have a 16-year-old get some skills, learn how to work a job and make whatever small amount of money, or would you rather nobody work that job and let a machine do it? And now you have really sort of limited the amount of exposure you can get for younger people to get work experience, period.
I think there's a misconception there. Like, I don't think it's the work experience. The 16-year-old is learning life experience. They're not learning how to flip burgers. They're learning how to interact with people. They're learning how to interact with authority.
All of that. Yeah.
Work ethic, discipline. Like, no, it's not just the flipping burgers experience. It's everything. It's just life experience.
I think it's a problem when you have people whose first work experience, their first job that they've ever had in their life is like after they graduate college, right? By the time I graduated college and I got my first like corporate job where, it was like a real career job, I had probably already worked 10 jobs doing different shit. Restaurants, coffee shops, construction, like all this. Yeah, my very first job was sweeping hair in a fucking hair salon.
Trying to make a wage, man.
I was like 13 years old.
Absolutely. I
had to get like special permission. But like so many people that I knew, even when I graduated college, and this was back in, it was a little while back.
The 1970s?
Exactly.
The 1960s?
I had a lot of friends who had never had a job, and they were 22, 23 years old, whatever, graduating college, looking for their first job. And like there's so many skills that they missed out on.
There's luxury in, I don't know how to say it, the silver spoon, like the people that didn't have to work their way through college.
Yeah.
The people that had
college. I think that's a liability.
The
liability if you don't have to work.
Them. Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so, but I knew a lot of people like that. And I think we're just trending more towards that if we like automate away these simple low-level jobs and people don't get any work experience until they're like finally finishing college in their early 20s, mid 20s, whatever it is. Like, that's a problem, man. You're infantilizing society to some extent because young people aren't having to take on responsibility.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's, like I said, the life experiences you learn having your first job, the discipline, the authority, like just waking up on time to come into, nobody wants to get up at 5 or
failure, all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Man. It's so important.
Discipline, like when, your boss is like, okay, well, you didn't do a good job. We're going to give you, progressive discipline.
We're going to cut your hours, like whatever it may be.
Exactly. You have to learn how to deal with people and deal with authority.
Yep. Yeah. I think it's a serious problem. And I think that
it's like the participation trophy mentality.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's the exact same thing. Like if there's never consequences for doing a bad job, why would you do a good job?
Right. You didn't work hard in the off season. You're not going to get first place in the season.
Right. Yeah. And so like, I understand in some context the utility of minimum wage, but I do think that we have to be careful because look, at the end of the day, when I owned my restaurants and, I needed a host or a hostess for the front.
Right.
Like that's a very niche position for like someone who's not old enough to serve yet.
There is a need for that entry level position, but there's also a need for that middle class American that needs a living wage, but they're not the same.
Right. Exactly. So how do you reconcile that?
Exactly.
Because you will inevitably have people who find themselves in their mid-30s flipping burgers at McDonald's because, who knows what happened in their life, right?
You get that, you get divorced, you lose that job. Like, life doesn't always throw you the hand you predict, but...
but that's why we have social safety net programs and stuff too, though. So then it's like, I don't know, man. These are tough problems. Like they are... part of me always wants to say, just let the market be the market, no minimum wage, like your value will be dictated by what you bring to the table. But then also I know that there's shitty people that abuse that system.
Exactly. I definitely agree with the minimum wage because if you don't have a minimum wage, then corporations will just say, okay, well, we'll just start with internships. And if you work for free for a year, then we'll hire you on.
Well, that's another weird thing. We already have unpaid internships.
Exactly.
It's like we have unpaid internships and then minimum wage and nothing in between. When I was in college,
crazy system.
Yeah, when I was in college, there were lots of like summer unpaid internships because you saw the value of that experience.
Right.
Which always struck me as weird because you can work completely for free, but you can't work for $4.50 an hour.
Right. Especially in like the news industry or like the corporate banking and, like stuff. When you want to make the really big bucks, you've got to sacrifice to get that long run. It's all about the long game.
And then also, if you take like your entry level investment banking roles or whatever it may be, like maybe take like a position at a law firm or something like
the paralegal. Yeah, you
one of these environments,
paralegal, like the lower level.
Yeah, but you're still working 100 hours a week.
You're just killing.
So
yourself.
What does your hourly wage end up being?
Nothing.
Below minimum wage for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. So like, how do you reconcile that? Because
you're reconciling that with your future gains,
right? And so, what is why can't you have positions that pay less than a minimum wage then if you can have free positions? What
is the minimum wage right now?
I don't even know. I think it's like $8 maybe.
That's so
some states
so little.
Some states it's 10, but the federal minimum wage is like 7 something or 8, which is it's low, but like here's the thing, like
I think interns should make that. At least.
But they don't.
I know, but they should.
That's why the system is weird.
It's a fucked up system.
Because you have unpaid internships, and then the next step is like $8 an hour.
Right. It's a test. It's an integrity. It's work ethic, discipline. They want to see that you're worth the wages that you're entitled to.
But it would not be legal to take that exact same scenario where it's a test and they want to see this and that and the other and pay you $4 an hour.
Exactly.
Which is way better than free.
Right. I know of companies that they will not hire you if you do not intern with them.
Right. It's wild.
Right.
It's crazy.
But from their perspective, I get it. Like they want to see that they're not hiring a piece of garbage. They want to see that you've got the work ethic. They want to see that you've got the discipline. They want to see that,
But the laws dictate that they're not allowed to pay you anything.
Right.
And if they wanted to just pay you a little bit of something, they wouldn't be allowed to do that.
It's messed up, man.
Yeah.
Like I see it from both sides. There's no solution that satisfies both sides of that equation.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's
weird.
Yeah.
And you have guys like, you got somewhere to be? You got a hot date? You keep checking your phone, bro. What's up? What the fuck's up with that?
It's a fucked up habit I've got.
Got all these ladies hitting you up?
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's wild. That's something that has always perplexed me. Is why can't we? You just not hit that camera.
I was trying to make an example of how much.
So if this ends up blurry,
right? Now I was trying to just say I don't give a fuck about my phone right now.
I got it. It's like a mic drop, but a phone drop.
Right. My bad.
No,
I'm sorry if I fucked up your podcast.
You're fine. The audio is still good. That's what matters.
I've got the audio.
Yeah, the audio is good.
Audio.
Yep. AJ has had a little bit of Blanton's, and it's starting to show.
It's good stuff.
It is good stuff. So what else is going on in your life, man? We didn't really get too political. I tried to take it there, but you've avoided that.
I gave you a little political.
You gave me a little bit. I just gave
what
do you think? What do you think?
I'm neutral, right leaning.
How do you think Joe Biden's doing?
I don't keep up with enough of what he's doing.
What a punt! What a punt! You punted that shit. You know how he's doing.
It just seems like he's not fulfilling his obligations that he's sold to the world.
We'll leave it at that. All right, moving on. So AJ says Joe Biden sucks. What do you think is going to happen in the next election?
I don't think Trump's coming back.
He's already confirmed he is.
Has he? Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw that he's already confirmed he's running again.
That's, it really speaks to his character that he would want to come back because he has nothing to gain from it. Like, he's just getting shit on.
Oh, so you think that it says it's a positive
right? It just shows that he cares about the country. Because literally, he has
or he just cares about not ending on a loss.
I'm to an extent, but he doesn't have any monetary gain. He doesn't have.
Well, he didn't have that the first time,
right? But he doesn't have the power. I mean, I guess he has 4 years of power to gain.
Yeah, kind of.
But right, I mean, it's like he's got enough money where he doesn't have to come back to live comfortably. He can just do his own thing and not care whatsoever.
Did you?
So I don't know why he would come back. If I were him, I wouldn't come back because more than half of the country just wants to shit on him.
So who is? I don't think it's more than half. But who?
Well, right, regardless of 60% or 40%, you've got a large population that wants to shit on it.
But one thing that you get used to when you're in the public eye is like there's going to be a percentage of people who want to shit on you.
I can't relate with that. I can't sympathize because I don't know what it's like.
I can't either. I'm just saying what people say.
Right. No, I get shit on by one or two people, and I don't know what it's like to get shit on by the majority.
I've been shit on by more people than that, and you get used to it. You really do. It's just so somebody like Trump, man, he's probably got bulletproof skin.
When you've got monetary comfortability, you can deal with that sort of thing, I think.
Yeah. So as far as Joe Biden goes,
just laugh.
Dude, but wait, I do need to show people. I do have a Joe Biden as well. So did you think that he was going to do this bad in the first year? Did you think it would be this bad? Because it's bad.
It's completely reverse of what he sold himself as.
Yes. Competent?
Well, the competence we knew wasn't good.
Yes.
We knew he was they said he was.
He said he was going to be a uniter and that he was going to bring people together. And he has done the exact opposite of that. He's been incredibly divisive.
Well, it seems like everything he sold himself as, he hasn't followed through on.
If only we had a 50-year track record of him not doing what he said he was going to do, and we could have used that to inform our voting process.
I love the memes. I'm a big fan of memes, so when I see good Joe Biden memes or just the current administration memes, circling back memes, I love memes.
It makes it easy.
So if memes were something we could monetarily exchange, we would all be rich.
Well, we can with NFTs, actually.
Right.
It's coming, or it's here. So, but what do you think is going to happen with our country, man? Because we've got a whole bunch of Democrats retiring. Literally, I think it's something like 20 plus seats that they're giving up, retiring, right?
Really?
So all of those.
That's substantial.
At the midterm, in midterms, I think it's going to be a huge red wave because you have that combined with all of these states, blue states where people have moved out and they've moved to red states. So Florida and Texas are gaining seats.
I feel like there's a lot of disappointed Democrats.
There's a lot of disappointed Americans, period.
Well, yeah, exactly. But
a lot of Democrats who are why did I vote for Joe Biden?
As far as the voting is concerned, Democrats voted for Biden for a specific reason because he promised these certain things that he hasn't delivered on.
Well, I think they also voted for Biden purely because he wasn't Donald Trump.
There was a lot of blue no matter who,
right.
I think was their slogan,
right.
Correct?
Which is why I'm really torn on. Look, if Trump runs, I hope he wins. But I just really, I'm like, is that the best thing though for him to run? Because you'll have these people who really are upset with Biden.
I think Trump is too divisive. Like, honestly, if we could get like
Ron DeSantis,
somebody Republican that has America's best interest at heart,
Ron DeSantis,
that isn't Trump because
Ron DeSantis
because he isn't so divisive.
Ron DeSantis,
but I mean, Biden and Harris have just
Biden. Yeah, is that whiskey good, bro?
You're letting me down here, man. You're making me look bad.
Yeah, it's all me doing that. But no,
we're just gonna.
My issue is that
the Kentucky bourbon distilleries right now.
I hope that I mean, if Trump runs, my fear is that there are going to be all these holdouts who would have voted red if it weren't Donald Trump because they're so fed up with Joe Biden.
Right. That's why I don't see how he can vote. I don't see how So he would have to run for the Republican nomination, correct?
Yeah. There would be a primary.
Okay,
so
primary.
There would be probably like Ted Cruz, Ron DeSantis, Donald Trump.
And if DeSantis is the Florida guy?
Yeah, governor of Florida.
Okay, so Republicans love him, right? Because
everybody loves him.
Florida's kicking ass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think if he ran for president in 2024, if he got the Republican nomination, he would win. But I think that, so at least what I'm seeing right now is Trump is, I mean, he and DeSantis have always been very supportive of one another, but now that there's like potential rumors of DeSantis running, Trump's starting to talk shit. Just being Trump,
I think from a Republican standpoint, I think Trump could do more good from supporting DeSantis than he could from running independently.
Yeah.
Well, when I say independently, I mean running as a Republican.
Running himself.
Right,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because of that blue no matter who mentality.
I do think that one potential possibility could be, I mean, look, Trump's, regardless of the blue no matter who thing, like this past election, Trump got a lot of votes. I mean, he got the highest Black American vote, the highest Latino American vote of any Republican ever. Like, there was a lot of people that were pro-Trump.
So, I mean, just to put all our cards on the table here, do you think Biden cheated in the election?
You're trying to get me kicked off YouTube,
I'm
bro.
trying to get you kicked off YouTube, man. And Instagram and Facebook.
Look,
because, I mean, Biden has the most votes of any president in the entire...
Yeah, most popular presidential candidate ever.
He's so popular.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say. That seems unlikely to me, and I'm going to leave it at that.
I mean, he's such a cool dude, man. Why wouldn't you vote for him?
Yeah.
I just want to hang out with Biden so we can hang out and have drinks because he's such a cool dude.
He's a breath away from death, man. He really is. But I think what I was going to say is I think if like there was a Trump DeSantis ticket, I think that would just blow the brakes off. Everything.
Oh, is like a president, vice president?
Vice president, yeah.
Who would be president? Who would be vice president?
Trump would have to be president.
Well, because he's been president before.
Yeah,
right.
And his ego. I mean, but still, if DeSantis got behind him and supported him and ran as his VP, I think Trump DeSantis would just, I mean, forget about it.
I think the 2024 vote is red-leaning regardless.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know what the Democrats could do.
We're about to see a red wave in the midterms.
Just because, regardless of sides, Biden hasn't followed through with his campaign promises. So,
and his vice president is even less popular than him.
Right. Just in human nature, when you lose somebody's trust, it's so hard to gain that back.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be political relationships, like just in general friendships, no matter what, when you lose somebody's trust, it takes years to gain that back. So when you've got Democrats losing the trust of that party, like, I mean, what do? You can't just gain that back instantaneously.
I would agree with you, except for the fact that Democrats always do this. And for whatever reason, people still keep coming back and voting for them. You know,
I get it. I'm just saying from just common sense standpoint, when you lose somebody's trust, how do you trust them again?
I think that principle applies in every area of life except for politics. For whatever reason, we as humans just are just so stupid. Yeah, I'm like, this time it'll be different. This time, this time's going to be different. He said he's going to do it. He's going to do it. It's like, no, dude, he wants your vote. He's going to get your vote. Just like with BLM. You know, Biden was all pro BLM, this and that. And as soon as he got in office, it was like they didn't exist. And they were making posts like, oh, it's been 80 days since we've reached out to the Biden administration. We haven't heard anything back. Right. Oh, it's been 90 days. And
so let me ask, wasn't like all the BLM donations, weren't they going to the Biden campaign?
So not all of them, but there was definitely so some, I believe it was Act Blue, if you're being specific. It's Act Blue is the organization that donates to political candidates, and so you can fund Act Blue. And I believe that there was some link between BLM and Act Blue. But I mean, even more so, like BLM, all the donations that people made to BLM, none of it went to like any charitable causes. Right.
We just went to political
stuff or buying mansions for the founders.
Right. They don't have any effect on your way of life.
Nothing.
So it doesn't, you donate this money to try to make people's life better, but it doesn't make anybody's life better except for the CEO or the political candidate running for office. It just, it's so...
Or the founders of the organization who are corrupt and just buy real estate.
It sucks to see the corruption. It sucks.
Yep, like, and I was attacked for calling BLM a domestic terrorist organization.
Right, I sympathize with those people. They donate this money with the best of intentions, but it doesn't...
But they don't.
It doesn't do anything.
But they don't. I don't think they do. I think a lot of people who donated to BLM did it so that they would feel virtuous, so that they would feel good about themselves. They could give themselves a little pat on the back.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that, but they also...
And then they could be like, look, I just gave money to BLM. Right, I'm so progressive.
They want life to be better for them. Or, the white people that donated, obviously they're like, okay, we're going to make black people's lives better. We're going to sympathize with black people. We're going to donate to BLM. But the black people that donated, they want life to be better for themselves. Well, so when they see the CEO or the president of BLM buying mansions in white society, what do they think?
White society.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, what
racist son of a bitch.
I'm just saying, like, the BLM president lady bought mansions in a white side of town. What do they think?
Well, I think even more specifically, the self-professed Marxist who believes in communism and socialist ideals is taking all this money and buying mansions. It's like, you're very clearly not a Marxist.
They don't like that money should be reinvested into the lower class society.
Of course it should be. Right, nothing happened. None of it went to any causes. Yeah.
Why?
Because they're corrupt.
No, they can't be corrupt. They're like living for a higher...
No. Not the people who donated. The people who run the organization.
It's fucked up. Like, it is. Take those people to court, sue them.
And people like me who said it from the beginning, because it's so easy to see through. We were called, racist, horrible people. And it's like, no, I just see a corrupt organization taking your money, not helping the black community, supporting these political candidates who do nothing but further entrench black Americans in being oppressed.
That hurts me, dude. Like, no, I want those people I want everybody to be equal. Like, why does this BLM president lady person feel like she's above everybody else?
Anytime there's a perceived inequality in society, there will be bad actors who take advantage of it.
Fuck them.
And that's exactly what happened.
Take them down.
She took advantage of white guilt. She took advantage of the need for a lot of people in society to feel virtuous and feel like they're contributing to a cause. They took advantage of all of that.
Why can't we sue her? She's a piece of shit.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Why can she do whatever she wants with no repercussions?
Probably because of the way they set up the organization. I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, for me, I was always like, look, it's one thing to say that Black Lives Matter. Of course they do.
Right, of course.
Like,
we get that.
But the organization Black Lives Matter is a corrupt, Marxism-inspired organization with awful motives that does not care about doing any good in this world.
Like, I mean, they've illustrated, like, you can't think someone is anything more than they've shown you they are for years. I mean, that's what they are.
And they did a very clever thing by naming the organization Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Like I talked about this at some point in some other episode where I was like, just think if you named your company like Don't Kick Puppies. Right. Like everybody can get behind that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It sounds great. Like, of course, don't kick puppies.
But when everybody
messed up stuff.
Yeah, when they donate. Sorry. Okay. When they donate to Don't Kick Puppies, but you don't use those
go buy
funds.
A mansion.
Right. Yeah, you're not donating that money to puppies. Well, then what the fuck are you doing?
Well, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, it's messed up, man. But there's so many examples of stuff like that.
I got to pee again.
Go pee. Just
okay.
This technology back. Stuff. I know it's difficult, but the camera's recording.
I was super nervous before, but I'm kind of having fun now, man.
Yeah, what's going to be cool about this episode is people are going to be able to watch the progression of you.
Of my intoxication.
Starting out like all nervous.
Dude.
And then you're all drunk.
That sounds like an awful proposition.
Do you have to work tonight? Not tonight. Tomorrow?
No, I'm not working tomorrow.
Oh, well then what are we even doing? You should have drank at the restaurant with me.
I can drink more. I'm just hanging out with my boy Dave, playing with these Joe Biden bobbleheads.
So, and we have a Donald Trump, all right? Look, we have both. Okay, this is deteriorating quickly.
Okay, let's put this up there. Okay.
But yeah, so I think we both agree that the midterms are going to go very strong red. I think that
Joe Biden made a lot of promises.
Do you think Joe Biden will actually make it to 2024? Because we just hit a year, and it feels like it's been the longest year. And I'm like, how the hell are we going to have 3 more years of this?
Well, I mean, to the extent I don't think he's going to die. So, I mean, he'll make it. But
you think, though? Like, he's 80.
Cognitively, I mean...
He's gone. He's gone.
He can't even carry on a conversation.
No, he's gone. Right. He's like worse than you right now.
What are you trying to say?
The listeners will know.
I hate you.
But no, I think that, honestly, man, I think that it's embarrassing globally.
As a country, dude, every other country in the world is laughing at us. Right?
I think so.
Absolutely.
More so than even, because look, people said that about Trump. They were like, he's this bombastic billionaire guy, so people are laughing at us. But this is a whole different thing, man. Right. This is a geriatric...
So Trump wasn't a politician. So they were laughing at him for being a businessman in a politician's world. Now we're getting laughed at from a politician in a politician's world. Biden is just, I don't know.
He's essentially like a corpse.
Right. I mean, you can't even...
And you want to feel like parts of me at times wants to feel bad for the guy, but then he's also evil. Like he does so many things that are evil. Like trying to enforce this federal vax mandate using OSHA.
But he's not using himself.
Of course not.
Right.
That's not what they do. They don't do the things they tell you to do.
Exactly. That's the evil part.
There's a lot of evil parts with this guy, man. And it's just like you can't even feel bad for him for being like a 80-year-old geriatric who can barely speak, because he's also a piece of human garbage, right? Like that's the tough part is like, so you're in this position now where like, really, we have 3 more years of this?
It's crazy. I mean, there was a meme that was talking about how old people were, and you don't really think about 80-year-old people as functional.
No.
But we've got 80-year-old people controlling our world.
Yeah, the Speaker of the House.
Right.
The President of the United States.
We need younger people in office.
The Senate Majority Leader, darn near close.
I don't get it. Like, why they need to have term limits.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that for sure.
Yeah.
That for sure.
Does it make any sense?
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. It's like most other jobs you would have retired by now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to drive a truck till I'm 80.
Right. You'll be president, though.
No, I'll just retire. I'll just be holding a steering wheel for 30 years and then say, I'm not going to hold this steering wheel anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be nice if they gave you guys like kind of like the Tesla autopilot, so you don't even have to hold the steering wheel.
They might.
That would be sweet.
They might have somebody in the cockpit while Tesla is holding that steering wheel.
Right. So you just get to kind of hang out.
Right. I mean,
just do some other job.
Right. Or just sit there and
watch Netflix.
Mentally, we have to monitor everything.
Watch Ozark.
Something.
I started watching the new season of Ozark. It's pretty solid.
Seen it.
It's pretty good.
I guess the last thing I watched was Dexter.
Oh, dude, that was like the newest one, or like
the newest
way
one.
Back in the day.
Now they had a new season.
Okay, was that good?
It was alright.
It was
not great.
Yeah,
no, it wasn't great.
I'm trying to limit my because I get addicted to these real quick, and I'll binge out.
TV, social media, like everything is fucking negative. Everything, nothing is bringing you closer to your goals if you're investing your energy in all that bullshit.
Well, what if your goal is to be like a social media star?
Fuck you.
Yeah, true. That's not my goal.
That shouldn't be your goal.
That's not my goal.
That might be what happens, but that shouldn't be your goal.
Yeah. Well, I think if that is your goal, that's a surefire way to not achieve that.
Exactly. Yeah. Nobody's going to care about you if all you care about is social media.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, man.
I feel like I'm a shitty guest. I'm sorry.
You're not a shitty guest. No, this is great. People, this is going to be the best episode ever.
I hope so. People, I love you.
They're going to be like, we love Drunk AJ. Drunk AJ is so much fun.
Oh, man. What can you do?
Well, look, man. I think it's an interesting time to be alive. I think.
Dude, I miss the old times, man. Like
what time? What time for you was like the good time?
Dude, I was born in '85, so when social media, MySpace, and when the internet first started getting big.
So you're talking like Y2K era.
The 1990s, right? The late 1990s, early 2000s, like that was like the golden era. And now we're just, it sucks. If I could, hindsight being 2020, if I could go back,
what would you do?
I would change so much stuff. Like it would just be insane.
But like what? Like in your life, what would you go back and do as far as knowing what you know in terms of technology and what has unfolded? Is there anything you'd go back and do differently?
I can't really say anything specifically.
Well, that's exciting.
Technology. Yeah, no, I'm boring. But
I'm just fucking with you, bro.
Technology-wise, but, fucking maybe relationship-wise. Like, you learn, what
just don't have them.
Right, what you've been through. Like, things that you've done that, you put in the effort, but you didn't get the return on investment. So it wasn't worth it.
Are you referring to anything specific?
I'm not. No, I'm not.
We'll stay out of trouble on this episode.
Right.
Man.
When you invest literally, like you provide everything for somebody their entire adult life, and they just shit on you. What are you supposed to do to that?
Shit back?
I don't know how to shit back. Like I'm just
for real shit. Like take a dump on their face.
I'm just gonna move on. I'm not gonna shit back.
Or do that. That would be the adult thing.
All you can do is move on.
Yes.
You don't shit back. You just move on.
Yes.
That's all you can do.
That's what you should do. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just gonna do me,
and also be cognizant of those signs moving forward in future relationships.
Dude, it's all about the universe. When you shit on the universe circles back.
When did you shit on the universe though, in order to get shitted on?
No, I never. I don't know if I ever shit on the universe.
But the universe shat on you?
The universe shat on her.
But she shat on you.
I'm just a victim. So no, I'm going to...
She's part of the universe. We're all stardust.
I'm going to continue to project positive energy into the universe so the universe positive circles back to me.
I don't believe that.
I mean...
I don't believe the universe gives a fuck about your positive energy. I think you just need to work your ass off and make your own positive result.
Right. Yeah. No, I can work. Yeah, absolutely. That's all we can do.
I'm just giving you a hard time, dude. I do think that you should put positive energy out into the world.
Dude, that's all we can. That's literally everything. Everything in the world is positive energy. You give positive energy, the universe gives positive energy back.
Okay, I can get on board with that.
To an extent. I mean, everything's not black and white, but you get levels of black and white back.
Do you think you've always put out positive energy?
No, nobody does. You can't.
Speak for yourself.
You can do your best.
Yeah. I'm kidding. I
know. Absolutely. No, I know. But life, there's so many variables in life. All you can do is your best. You're going to give good. You're going to give bad. But there's some middle ground in between that, like, you can't be always negative.
If you had to pick one thing in life that's your biggest regret, what would it be?
I can't even say it on air.
All right. Like, well, pick the second next best one that you can say on air. And then tell me the other one once we stop recording.
So no, I mean, I would think there's gonna be some editing involved in here for sure.
I'm not editing shit.
No, you're fucking embedded.
Nope. Nope. If you can't speak, I'm not editing.
1, 2, 3. Editing. Yes, you're editing.
No, I'm not. I'm not editing. I believe in transparency. And I have to have this up tomorrow anyway.
You're going to be up all night editing this shit because I'm such a piece of garbage that my words are so confused.
That's fine. That makes it entertaining. You guys can figure out what he's trying to say.
If I were going to change anything in the past, I would say I would stick to my values. Like things that I didn't feel comfortable with, I wouldn't have went along with. I would have stood my ground, been, and, you know, for all intents and purposes, an alpha male, like just stood my ground and been like, no, this is what we are. This is how we're going to be. This is everything. Like either you can be this or you can just be something else. Like, I mean, I need this. I can't handle something else.
Why do you think in those examples you didn't stand your ground?
You know, when you've got so many kids and you've got like a family that, you know.
All right, you're getting specific.
Right. And I'm sorry. I can't help it. But, you know, when you've got.
So essentially you're putting the feeling of others before the feelings of your own.
Right. Yeah. It's a decade. Like a family that you've had you would do anything for your family, right?
Of course.
Would you not?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. So I would do anything for my family. I would shovel shit. I would put myself second place for my family forever, just because that's what's best for my kids. Yeah, I don't care. I would do what's best for my kids no matter what, forever, because that's what's best for them. I want what's best for them, regardless, and that's what we would do. But
what you would do,
right? That's what I would do. But you know, hindsight being 2020, I would say, well, this is what's best. And if you want something else, well, then that's all we can do. We can't do this because I don't think that's what's best.
Right. Gotcha. So for those listening,
we got off topic. I'm
sorry.
No. I'm sorry.
No, that was great. You stayed true to the question I asked, because for those listening, if you're grappling with whether or not you should stand up for what you believe in, and you should stand by what you think to be morally and ethically correct, you know, you heard it right here. If you don't, you'll regret it.
Dude, absolutely. Like when you're at a crossroads with a left and a right, and you have to make one of those choices, stay true to yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Always stay true to yourself.
Absolutely. So when, you know, you might say, okay, well, maybe we should go the other way because the other person. No. Fucking stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
Every fucking time, stay true to yourself.
Especially if it's like diametrically opposed to your moral ethical values.
Absolutely. Your moral compass.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if you find yourself, I think, in a situation where you're in some sort of relationship, it could be romantic or not, with someone who makes you call into question your ethical and moral values, right?
I feel like we transitioned from politics to moral values.
Of course we did. Of course we did. Dude, this show goes all over the place. This is what's beautiful about being a human.
Right.
But like if you're with in some sort of could be a friendship, could be a professional relationship, could be a romantic relationship, but someone is essentially saying that you must do this thing which you disagree with on an ethical and moral level, or you're at odds with them and they believe the exact opposite, then I think it's a valid time to question your relationship with that individual, right? Like you have to really ask yourself, like, if we're that different, should I be engaging in whatever sort of relationship with this human, whether it's friendship, whether it's working together, professionally, business related, or romantic? Like, you should never sacrifice to that extreme level your morals.
Do not ever, like 100% ever, sacrifice your moral values for anybody, no matter the extent or the relationship or the marriage or the family or the number of kids. Like, if the moral values do not line up, like, do not sacrifice ever.
Yeah. And I think if you're honest with yourself, like truly honest with yourself, you'll recognize when that's happening.
Yes.
And you got to listen.
No.
You got to listen to yourself.
You can see it. There's no confusion whatsoever.
Absolutely.
Like, you can see, like, there is a mental, like, you are making a mental choice to sacrifice on that level.
Yeah.
So there's no like confusing it whatsoever.
Right. There's no ambiguity.
Right.
You know for a fact that you're doing something that goes against who you are as a human.
You are giving somebody the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
That they don't deserve.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Agreed. Well, I think that's a pretty good place to go ahead and wrap it up, man. Right. I honestly, I think that's great advice for people.
I hope so, dude.
And look, I've been in situations where I've maybe it's not necessarily as impactful as being like the person I chose to spend my entire life with, for example, but relationships with humans where I know for a fact I'm calling into question my moral code because I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I value to some extent my relationship with them, and I don't want to destroy that, and so I go with it, but then I end up regretting it.
It's really weird.
Like, everybody grapples with that,
right? You have this mental picture of what somebody is, but that picture of, you have somebody on a pedestal, but what they really are is completely different.
Yes. And I think that oftentimes we let our picture of who we think they are overshadow their actual behaviors.
Absolutely.
Where they're trying to show you who they really are.
Yeah, you give them the benefit of the doubt when they don't deserve it.
Yeah, and you've idealized them as a human, right?
Absolutely.
Like you've said, this is what I picture you as, this is who you are, when at the same time they're doing completely opposite stuff, and you're turning a blind eye to it.
Absolutely.
Because you want them to be this other thing.
And they're not going to be anything more than they've shown you who they are going to be.
Yeah.
They show you this.
So just pay attention.
Yes, they give you those examples over and over and over again, but they're never going to be more than that.
Right. Or different than that, or who you want them to be.
Absolutely.
They're going to be who they are.
Yes.
All right, my friend. Okay. I'm going to do this with you just because I do it with all my first-time guests.
You're just going to do that because I'm intoxicated.
No. I have a feeling I'm going to have you back on the show plenty of times.
I hope
People are going to get to know you.
I'll come back.
But, and I feel like we've kind of done this a little bit in this last little bit here, but I wrap up with all first-time guests the same way. If you could give one piece of advice to young people today, what would that be?
If I was going to give young people advice, I would advise them to focus on what's best for you.
Yeah.
Focus on you. You can't be the best you if you're focusing on somebody else.
Right. And you can't help people.
Right.
Unless you take care of yourself first.
So the age-old example of like an empty glass or a half full glass. Well, so if you have you can't pour from an empty glass.
Right.
Right. Exactly. So focus on yourself And when you have fulfilled yourself, then you can pour into other people.
Exactly. Right. And you shouldn't feel like you're being selfish.
Exactly.
When you're doing that.
No. Focusing on yourself is not selfish, ever. Like, focusing on other people is a problem, but focusing on yourself is never a problem.
Yeah. Because oftentimes we do focus on others to escape issues with ourselves that we know we're trying to avoid.
Right. No, and you know, especially when you have kids in a family, you tend to focus on other people, your wife and your children.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But yourself gets left in just
on the back burner.
Right, on the back burner. Yeah. So you need to focus on yourself. And when you fulfill yourself, then you can focus on other people.
Boom. I love it, man. AJ, thanks for joining me today, brother. I've been trying to get you in here for a while. I'm glad you were finally able to join me. I'm going to try to bring you back as much as I can, even if we're just talking about current events and chopping it up.
I'll come back every day.
You've been an amazing friend, and I appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, keep your minds free.